Hey everybody, welcome back to another playthrough. Turns out that I was making edits to the Hunt for Gollum, and I realized that I just completely messed up the rules. Specifically, I messed up the rules about guarded objectives. And so in this scenario, there's objectives that are called signs of Gollum. And what happens is that they are not out at the beginning. For example, when there is when it's Escape from Dol Guldur in some of my previous episodes, there was objectives, but they already were placed out in the staging area and then guarded. Okay, these guarded objectives are in the encounter deck, and as such, they come out, and when they come out, then you have to guard them by drawing the next card on top of the encounter deck. So I screwed up the rules enough that I wanted to revisit this and see if I could try to beat it for real. This game is awesome. One of the things that I like about it is all the rules that let me say this correctly. There are a lot of rules. That's not necessarily why I love it. What I like about it is the rules all seem to make sense based on what's going on in the game. And that, to me, is a mark of a well put together game, is that, you have a guarded sign of Gollum, and so you want to bring out that objective. Okay, or you want to bring out something to guard it. Okay, and so online you can search a million different places in a lot of forums and get a lot of people arguing over some of the ticky-tacky things. And that's for us to all argue, those people who are trying to figure out the order in which things get resolved. But the other thing about the rules that I like is that you can kind of mess up some of the rules, but you still feel confident enough that you beat it. Albert Einstein here has been helping me keep track of my threat, and I'll notice that sometimes I'll miss raising my threat by one sometime. Every once in a while, I'll forget it at the beginning of the round, or Glorfindel will exhaust to commit to the quest or something, and it just becomes a mess. Or it can become a mess, but I don't feel like that takes away from the gaming experience. I feel like this game, you either lose really quickly, or you win, and it's kind of skin of the teeth sort of win. And so I guess that's, every once in a while you win, and it's super straightforward that you win. But in this case, like I said, I screwed up the rules enough that I am going to play the Hunt for Gollum again. So let's go over my deck setup. You'll notice, before that happens, that I actually finally bought card sleeves. I was going to buy, I do have sleeves that match all the spheres. I have, blue sleeves and red sleeves. And so I was going to put the heroes in corresponding colored sleeves, but I decided not to, just in case there's a mechanic that comes out that you have to take your hero and put him into your deck or somewhere, or into your discard pile, because you don't want your cards marked in any way. So I put them all in these green sleeves. I picked green deliberately. If you know me, I do things kind of deliberately. Like I have all these, I have matching die for each of the spheres to to keep track of things. But I picked green because that's the color of nature, and this is like my nature deck. It's elves and ents going out and adventuring through the scenario. Now, this specific scenario is the Hunt for Gollum, and the Hunt for Gollum is basically it's a location-heavy scenario with some some yucky hunters that are out from Mordor following me, or not, that we run into. And the idea is Gandalf wants us to look in the Anduin Valley for Gollum, or at least signs that Gollum has been lurking around. And so that's what we're looking for, are these signs of Gollum and what he's doing. Keep in mind that this scenario and a lot of the adventure pack scenarios and expansions happen in the 70 years between The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So the hunt for Gollum is happening while Bilbo and Frodo are partying in the Shire. So anyways, going over my heroes, I have Tactics, Legolas. He's good. And then I have Lore, Haldir. There's only one Haldir. There's only one hero Haldir. There is an ally Haldir. And then there's Glorfindel. Okay, and these guys can do all sorts of neat things. So now let's make sure that I do everything correctly in terms of order. So I set my initial threat level. It's 23 tokens. So now I get to draw my starting hand, and really the only thing that I'm kind of looking for is the Light of Valinor. That's the thing. So I have a Stand and Fight, Elrond's Counsel, Wandering Ent, a Light of Valinor, a Feint, that's good, and a Cloak of Lorien. So I do have the Light of Valinor, so I'm going to not take a mulligan, and I'm going to keep this hand. That's going to help me tremendously. Okay, and so now we set the quest cards, which is this. It says reveal one quest card per player from the encounter deck, and add it to the staging area. So that's the West Bank, and the West Bank makes me have to increase the cost for playing event and attachment cards. Okay, so now I turn this over, and so here's the forced effect on this phase, and this is why I could fill up videos without even playing why I love this game, but this is the thing. So you're on a hunt for Gollum, and there's a mechanic here where you have to go through and hunt through the deck to find things and put one out and discard the other two. So you're actually hunting through the encounter deck to see if you can find signs of Gollum. And so that mechanic leads right into what's going on in the game. Okay, so now I'm going to give myself some resources. Okay, I'm going to not even put one resource on Glorfindel because the Light of Valinor costs one to bring out. And this little dot up here, that's the unique, and there's one on each hero. That little dot means that it's a unique card. I forgot to draw, so I'm going to draw. Okay, so now what can I do? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring out the Dunedain Ranger. And so when I do that, I have to draw 5 cards here. Okay, I'm looking for a non-unique enemy. Okay, so again, the unique is this little circle with the dot in it, or little bright spot. So I have a non-unique enemy. This is good. So I take these, and then I have to shuffle the encounter deck. Okay, and so now this guy comes out, and he's engaged with me. Okay, and not in a good way. We're definitely not going to marry this guy. Okay, but that's okay. I'm feeling okay about that. Okay. So, the Hunters of Mordor is an interesting card because he gets more strong as clue cards come out. Okay, he's engaged. So here's what I have to do. I have to, I want to now figure out, I'm going to take the Cloak of Lorien, and I'm going to put that onto, I think I'm going to put that onto Glorfindel too. So now Glorfindel has some defense. Okay, and now you may be able to predict that I'm going to use feint probably unless something crazy happens, I'm going to use feint and to keep that guy out, or to kill that guy this time around. So I'm going to use Elrond's Counsel. Now it's in my quest phase. Okay, I'm going to quest for 3/6. Okay, and I'm going to leave all of these guys out to do stuff. So that's 6. I have to lower my threat by 3 because of Elrond's Counsel. So that's good. And so now I have to draw a card. Okay. So this is this. It says first player shuffles a card with a printed clue trait into the encounter deck. If there's no clue cards in play, I gain false lead, gain surge. So there's no clue cards in play. It's a little early on. So now surge. So now we do the flooding. It says doomed 1. Okay. So I raise my threat by 1 for the doomed, and it's surge, but it says remove all progress tokens from Riverland locations. Well, there's one Riverland location, but there's no progress on it, so that's good. So it's surge, so I get another one of these, and so now it says while the East Bank is the active location, ally cards cost 1 additional matching resource to play from the hand. Okay. So, here's the thing. I quested for 6, and there's 6 threat. So I may have said this wrong in a couple other videos. The only way that you successfully quest is if you have greater threat, greater willpower than the threat in the staging area. And so this threat is 6. I quested for 6, so I quest unsuccessfully. I don't have to raise my threat, but I did quest unsuccessfully. Now, the good thing about that is this doesn't go off. But now what I can do is I can definitely travel to one of these places. Okay, I think I'm going to travel to the east. You know what? I'm going to travel to the West Bank. Okay, I'm going to get in my boat and get across the river. I'm going to travel to the West Bank. And so if I do play an event or an attachment card, it's going to cost 1 more now because it's the active location. And so now I want to do something with this guy. And okay, this guy is going to attack me. So this comes out immediately. And now I'm going to play a feint as my combat action. Okay, and it says that enemy cannot attack the player this phase. So this comes out, but this doesn't actually do anything, okay? Because the shadow only does something if the card attacks. So now doing that, I can attack for 3, 6, 9, and this guy has 6 hit points and 2 defense. So that's a total of 8. So I've killed the hunters from Mordor with my elves here, my 1 ranger, and not only that, because he died, I get to put 2 progress onto the East Bank, or the West Bank. I'm sorry. Okay. So I think that was a pretty successful first round. I got rid of some ugly things in the encounter deck. Some ugly treacheries, I mean, and I got rid of hunters from Mordor. I think there's 4 or 5 in this deck, so that's crazy. So I think I'm pretty happy with how that happened for a first round based on what I have in my hand. So I'm going to give everybody resources. Everybody has one resource now. Why did I raise my threat? I'm going back through. Oh, I did draw a doomed one, so now I'm going to raise my threat at the beginning of the round. Raise my round. Okay, so I have 22. I'm going to draw a card. Man, I like these stand-in fights, I guess. Okay. And so now I can't play any cards in my hand, so now I have to quest. So I'm going to actually quest for just about everything here. I'm going to quest I'm going to quest for 6 again. Okay, there's only 3 up here, so I'm going to turn this over. So now that's 2. Just so you know, I live right next door to a firehouse. I pulled a second Hunters of Mordor. Okay. But now I've quested successfully. And I had to look up this rule. Okay. So now my quest successfully. So now because I've quested successfully, I can place tokens, but the forced effect goes off. But that forced effect does not contribute to its to the overall threat. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to put this guy out. Okay. Now, again, his threat, because I've already calculated the threat, that's already done. So I quested for 5, so this is done and definitely into the muck here. So now I'm going to bring this out. I'm going to make that the active location. So now it says every ally costs an additional matching resource. That's okay. I'm fine with that. Okay, and so now this guy comes out because he I had to discard the top card of my deck. It's Gandalf. Dang it. Anyways, so Gandalf comes out. I increase his threat by the cost. That's 5. So his threat goes up to 6, but that doesn't matter. His threat could be 1,000,000. I still do what I need to do. Okay, so this guy comes out. He gets a shadow card. I'm going to defend with Glorfindel. He's got the Cloak of Lorien, so he can defend. So for the 1, hopefully I don't take a bunch of stuff. Okay, there's no shadow effect. That's good. So 1, he defends for 1, no damage done. And now I'm going to attack this guy with Legolas. I attack him. He dies. And because he dies, I do 2 on the current quest, which is that. So that's pretty good. Okay, so now we're going to ready everybody. Oops. Okay, I'll put these out. I'm going to raise my threat by 1, raise the round by 1. Okay, I'm going to give Glorfindel 2, 2, 2. I'm going to draw a card, and it's another Wandering Ent. So here's what I think I'm going to do. Okay, I really want to get through this phase. Okay, I'm really desperate to do this. So I'm going to play Stand and Fight. Okay, when I do that, I'm going to spend 5. I'm going to bring Gandalf in to play. Okay, when I bring Gandalf into play, now I can either draw 3 cards, deal 4 damage to 1 enemy, or reduce my threat by 5. Well, right now my threat's not a thing. So I'm going to do 4 damage to this guy that's in the staging area. I'm doing that on purpose. Okay. And now I want to quest. Okay, I'm going to quest there for 4, 5, 8. I'm going to quest for 8, 9. Okay, quest for 9. So now I draw a card. The Eastern Crows. That gains Surge, so I draw another card. Surge means I draw another card. And so that's the Banks of the Anduin. Okay. So now, let's see here. So that's 1, 2, 4. I quested for 4, 5, 8, 9. Okay. So that's 4, 9. That is good. That means 5. So I am going to... I quested successfully, so I get to do this thing. Okay, notice there's a lot of things that are coming out here. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. A lot of people don't want treacheries coming out, but I like that this doesn't add anything to my staging area. Plus, I only have one person not committed to the quest, and that's Haldir. Okay, so I'm going to raise my threat by 1. Now I did quest for 9. There was 4 out here, so that's 1 here, and now there's 4 that happen here, so I have 4 there. Okay, and I'm going to travel to the banks of the Anduin, and my threat is low. So because I have low threat, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to attack this guy because he's not engaged with me and I haven't engaged something. So if you look, I get to engage him, I get to attack him and do 1 more damage to him in the staging area. Okay. Okay. So this is so far pretty good. So now Gandalf goes back. I ready people. Okay, so that helped a tremendous amount. Now I get 1 spirit resource, 1 tactics resource, 1 lore resource, raise my threat by 1, raise my round by 1. Now I get to draw a card. Okay, so that's Elrond's counsel. Okay, I'm okay with Elrond's counsel. Now, I have 2. So now I'm going to bring out the Wandering Ent. Okay, so that helps me block some things. Okay. Okay. Now, quest. I'm going to use Elrond's counsel. I'm going to reduce my threat by 3, so I'm at 22. And I control a unique Noldor, so I'm going to give this guy an extra 1. So now I have 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to quest for 6. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's cool. So I'm questing for 6. So now, and out here, there's only 3. So I quest for 6. That's 5 there, so that's 1. And so now, again, as per the rules that I looked up right before I started the scenario, I still do that. And now, because I quested successfully, the forced effect goes off. Okay. And let's see. I'm going to put the clue. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put the clue out there. Okay. The clue bumps him. But now it's guarded. So, okay, so it's guarded with this guy. Okay. So that's interessante, but not horrible. Okay. So, I'm getting hunted. The hunters for Mordor are also looking for Gollum. Okay. But, having said that, I'm going to attack, because of Haldir's ability, I'm going to attack this guy into the staging area. He doesn't get any bonuses for the for his defense, so this guy dies. Okay, so that's cool. So now I'm feeling pretty good still. Everything ready's already. Okay, what's that? It says leaves player return to the top of the deck. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put one resource here, one extra resource here. So I have 2, 1, 2. Raise my threat, raise the round number, draw a card. Okay, so I have Goblin Cleaver, which allows me to do 2 damage to things. But not anything crazy. So I think again what I'm going to do is I'm going to do stand and fight. I'm going to remove all of that, and so that allows me to bring Gandalf out into play for 5. Okay. Right? So Gandalf now does 4 damage, and I am going to let's see. I'm going to quest with Gandalf for 5, 8. 8, 9. Actually 10, right? 4, 5, 8, 10. And out there right now is 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 10. I'm going to quest for 7. Okay. So I draw. Look at that. Another Hunters from Mordor. They're all grouped up right there. This is... so. That means that I'm questing unsuccessfully, and I have to raise my threat by 1, because that's 4, 4. Okay. So that doesn't help me. I can't travel. But what I can do is I can definitely bring out I can optionally engage the Eastern Crows. Okay. And so by optionally engaging the Eastern Crows, great. What do I get to do? I'm going to block the Eastern Crows with Glorfindel, I guess. So, okay, it says deal 1 damage to each hero with a clue card attached. I don't have any heroes with clue cards, so that's cool. So he defends for 2. He only does 1, so no damage. And now I'm going to attack for 3. He defends for 0. So now the Eastern Crows shuffle it back into the encounter deck. So now the Eastern Crows gets shuffled back into the encounter deck. And because I defeated the Eastern Crows, this is crazy, I get to put 2 onto the current quest, which in this case the current quest is this location, and then this location is the banks of the Anduin, and then this gets it says return it to the top of the pile. So that's how that goes. So I really need to worry about maybe these Hunters from Mordor, but whatever. So Gandalf, he leaves. I can't travel right now. Okay, and now I'm going to draw. Okay, Treebeard, he's a good draw. I always like having Treebeard out. One of the things that I think that happens when you play this game is you end up learning how your deck works. Another reason why I love it. Learning how your deck works so that you feel comfortable playing things and you know how to play it, and it takes less time to deal with the mechanics of your own deck. Like, you're not reading the cards, you're not trying to, figure out what the heck is going on. So I can't play Treebeard, and I can't play my Wandering Ent, and the Goblin Cleaver doesn't. Ugh. So Okay, so I guess I quest. So I may not quest successfully this time around. But if I don't quest, well, I'm going to quest for 3. Let's see. I'm going to block with that guy, so that's 3, 4. 6, 7. Then I'm going to block with this guy, attack with him, and then I get 2 more on the current location. Okay. 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 So I quested for 6, and out there is 10. Okay, so the banks of the Anduin come out. Isn't that exciting? How did I know? Remember, I had to get placed on top because that's what ends up happening to it. Okay, so I quest unsuccessfully. There's 11 out there. I quested for 6, so my threat goes up by 5. So I was at 24, so I'm at 29 threat. Okay. Can't play any of those things, so I'm going to engage this guy. Okay, and so I'm going to block this guy. I can only optionally engage one dude, so even if I thought I wanted to engage both, I wouldn't be able to. Okay, so this guy gets a shadow card. I'm going to block this guy with this. This guy is at 4 attack. He has 2 defense, so that's pretty good. Remove 1 progress token from the current quest. So this goes down to 3. Okay. He has 2 damage done to him. So this guy has 2 damage done to him. That's like that. So now he has 1 hit point left, which is fine. And now I'm going to attack. Oh, I'm going to travel. I'm going to travel to the banks of the Anduin. I'm going to leave this maybe in my in there because I have to remove stuff, remove progress tokens from it, and it's a pain in the neck. Anyways, so now I get a shadow card. Oh, I already did the shadow card. That's silly. What did I do? So now I'm going to attack with Glorfindel for 3 and Legolas for 3 and kill the hunter from Mordor. And by doing that, I get 2 progress on the banks of Anduin, and then I ready everybody. So let's give myself some more resources. Okay. Look. Raise my threat. Thank you, Albert Einstein. Let's draw. Okay, a feint. That is a good sign. Okay, so let's see here. I can now, let's see here. I'm going to do 2, 4, 6. By spending all of those, I'm going to bring in Treebeard and another Wandering Ent here. Okay. Now, the good news is that I have lots of people to defend this guy. But for now, this time around, I may have to quest a bunch because there just seems to be a lot of stuff going on. I don't know. I don't want to engage this guy, even though he's in there. I don't know. Well, these guys aren't going to do anything. So let's quest for 2 3, 6, 8. We'll quest for 8. There's 4, 6 in there. So now I'm gonna this out. So that's the Eastern Crows. And that has Surge, so now we do the Evil Storm. It says each character deal 1 damage to each character controlled by each player with a threat of 35 or higher. My threat is 30, so that fizzles. So I quested for 7, or I'm sorry, there's 7 threat out here, and there's 2, 3, 6, 8 here. So I quested successfully. So that means this, I get to pick a thing here. Okay, so I think I'm going to pick this guy. Okay, these two get put out there. What did I just? These two get discarded. So it was 8. And there was 7 here before I put this out, so that means that this comes back here. And so the Banks of the Anduin, that's good to have as a shadow card. So now, okay, so now I have to engage these 2 guys. Okay, so, and the one with the higher threat gets put. Now here's the thing about this, is both of these only do 1 damage. So, I think I'm going to let them both through. Yeah, and oh, I also quested successfully, so because I quested successfully, I'm going to take the Signs of Gollum and put them on Haldir. Okay, so I'm feeling okay here. So I'm going to let this guy come through. Now this should have no shadow effect because it's the Banks of the Anduin. Okay, good. Okay, so that fizzles. So now I have to put 1 damage on a person. So I'm going to take and put 1 damage onto Glorfindel. He's got the cloak, so that means that he's got a lot of hit points. Okay, and now this I'm going to let through. And this says, if you do not control at least 1 hero with a clue card attached, return this enemy to the staging area after attacks result. So I just put that on a hero, so that was good that I did that. Okay, so now this does another 1 damage, so I'm going to, again, put it on Glorfindel. And now, I don't think it matters how I attack these guys, because this guy this has 0 defense and 1 hit point, 0 defense and 3 hit points. Each of these guys individually can do 3, so this is going to do 3, and this is going to do 3, so I'm going to kill both of these guys. Okay, and because I killed both of those guys, Legolas does 3, or does 2 more to the quest, so that's, if I can find the 5, okay, great. Okay, so now we ready everybody. Okay, so now I'm feeling pretty good that I have some guys to block. I'm feeling pretty good that I have some guys to attack. Some pretty good, so, I don't know, I'm feeling overall pretty good about this. So I'm going to raise my threat by 1. I'm going to raise my round by 1. I'm going to draw. Look, there's another Treebeard. I'm not a fan of having multiple Treebeards in my hand, but that's okay. So I'm going to put this out. I'm going to leave those cards over there. I do have a Feint, which is going to come into play with this guy. Okay. I forgot to travel to this, but it is what it is. Okay. So now I'm going to give myself resources. So I have 1 lore, 1 spirit, 1 lore, 1 tactics. And now and I have 1 Treebeard token. So here's my little Ent army over here. This guy's 2 damage on him. Okay. And so Now we quest. Look, I can quest for 6 without even touching my heroes. So that's cool. I can quest for 6 there. And then I am going to actually, you know what? I'm going to keep Treebeard open. He's a good defender. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I have a good defender out for this guy. Actually, no, I don't need a good defender out because I have the feint. Okay, so remind me to use feint. Okay, remind me to use the feint. Okay, so that's 6, 7, 10. Okay, 10. I'm going to quest for 10, and there's 6 out there. Okay, so I draw 1, and it's the old wives' tale. It says discard 1 resource from each hero's pool if able. So look, and then it says exhaust that hero. So I unfortunately am now stuck, but that's okay. You know what? I'm not that stuck because I quested successfully. Okay, there was 6 out there. I quested for 10. So I quest successfully. So I have to pick one of these. So I'm going to pick this to come out. This is the Evil Storm. It says to do 1 damage to each character controlled by a player with more than 35. I'm at 31. Okay, so I quested for 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 7, 10, 12. Okay, so this immediately I quest out. So this is done. Okay, and now for 2A, 2A just has some flavor text on it. And it says, at the beginning of the quest phase, the first player looks at the top 2 cards. So now it's the beginning of the quest phase. So now, not only am I doing the the revealing phase for the or the setup phase or whatever you want to call it, but I'm also adding cards to the staging area because before that. So now I have to quest that for 10. Now the good news is I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna travel there, the River Ninglor, and now I'm also going to I'm gonna leave that guy in the staging area one more time, okay? Because I can't use my feint this time around, so that's a bummer. So okay, so I'm gonna ready everybody. I'm gonna give everybody a resource token. Treebeard gets a second resource token, and that's powerful because he can ready an Ent. So I can ready himself here. That's good. So I'm going to raise my threat by 1. Get the round. Okay, so now I have a Cloak of Lorien. Okay, the cloak is nice because it gives me extra defense. Which I like, which I guess I'm going to put it onto Haldir because he's right now getting all the he's getting the signs of Gollum. Okay, so now we're going to quest for 2, 4, 6, 7, 10, 12. It's the beginning of the quest phase, so I draw 2. Then I pick 1 that I want out. Okay. I'm going to put out the Eaves of Mirkwood. So there's 6 out there right now. Okay. And now I'm going to stage something else. So that's the Signs of Gollum. Okay. Now this is, again, I said this before, but this is where I screwed up last time. This is a guarded objective. So now I have to reveal this guy, and this is what's guarding it. Okay, and that has Surge, so now I get another one out here, and this is the old Ford. So all of this This guy is however many allies. I have 4 allies, so this is 4. So this becomes crazy because this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, and I quested for 12, so I get to put 1 on this location. Now I thought I was going to be able to do a little bit better at the beginning here because this location, the river Ninglor, is rough. It says that we remove 1 progress token from the quest and 1 from the active location from this thing. So each round. So that's a bummer. Nonetheless, I'm going to optionally engage this guy, and this guy comes out. Okay, so now we put shadow cards on this. Okay, I'm going to spend the 1 and play Feint. Okay, so that means this guy does not attack. Okay, it's good to gladden fields. I didn't want that anyways. I'm going to let this guy come through. I'm not going to block him. Okay, same reason as last time. Okay, so now let's see. Clue card, no shadow effect. So now that does 1 damage. So I'm going to do 1 damage to Legolas. He's able to have 1 damage. Now, I think I'm able to kill all these guys. I think. Maybe not. Because I can do 6. I definitely need to kill this guy. Okay. Now, if I just had a weapon card, I could play Goblin Cleaver, but I don't have a weapon card. But, it's what you can do. Okay, well, I'm going to ready Treebeard. And now I'm going to do 4... 7. I guess I'm going to do 10 to this guy. I'm going to attack with all 3 of these guys. Okay. Now by doing that, I participated in an attack that killed an enemy. So that's good. So this goes up to 3. This guy I can't do anything with, so I'm going to ready everybody. Now that's the end of the turn, but at the end of the turn I have to bring this down by 1 because of its effect. Okay, so raise my threat by 1, raise my round by 1, give everybody some resources. That's good. Draw a card. Oh, the black arrow. I really like the idea of the black arrow, so I'm going to put the black arrow onto Haldir. And my logic for that is the black arrow does 5, it gives me 5 extra attack. So I could, in essence, take this dude and I can do 8 attack, and attack for 8 for something in the staging area. I don't know if that's going to be a huge deal, but it's definitely going to help out. Okay, so here's 2, 4, 6, 7, 10. I'm going to do 12 again. Okay. Okay. So this is the beginning of the quest step. Okay. Okay. I'm going to, because I don't want any, I know that sounds weird, but I'm going to put the Signs of Gollum out there, and then I'm going to do this. It says, raise my threat for each character that's not committed to the quest, and I only have 1 character not committed to the quest. So I'm going to raise my threat by 1. So that was the effect of this. But now I'm going to do this, and it says for each location gets +1 threat until the end of phase. Then each player with a threat of 35 or higher chooses and discards 1 card from his hand. My threat is 34, so I don't have to discard. But each location, 1/2, gets an extra threat. So so let's see here. This is 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's 8 out here. And I quested for 2, 4, 6, 7, 10, 12. So that's 8, 9, 10. And then I actually get to do 2 on the current quest. And now I'm going to travel to the old ford to get that out of play. And now I have to attack, or I have to get attacked. And so I'm going to get attacked by these guys. And I'm going to block with Glorfindel, and there's no shadow effect, so no damage, but Glorfindel's exhausted, and so now I'm going to attack this with Legolas. Okay, so now this dies. Legolas attacks for 3 and he defends for 0. This stays in the staging area. I have to claim it in order to get it. Okay, but I get to do 2. I get to travel for 2 here because of Legolas's ability. Okay, so now we ready everybody. Okay, raise our threat, raise our round. I'm at round 10. I think Albert's been helping me make sure that I'm doing well here. Okay, now I'll draw a card. And that helps me out here a great deal. Okay. Oh, I forgot to give myself some resources. Now I'm going to put the Galadrim Weaver out. Every video, I can never pronounce that card's name. Okay, but I'm putting that out, so I'm not going to increase my resource count here. So I have 2 and then 2, and because of the Galadrim Weaver, I get to take this, I get to put this back in my deck, and then I have to shuffle my deck. Okay, so because it's only 1 card that gets shuffled, I'll just do a kind of a shuffle here. If it's multiple cards, you'll see me do I'll riffle, but that's just what I do. Okay, so that's good. Would have been nice to get that back, but okay. So here we go. Quest 2, 4, 6. Let's see, at the beginning of the quest phase. So technically, I have to do this now. Okay. So I have a choice here. I'm going to put the Banks of the Anduin out because it has less threat. Okay. So now I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11, 13. I'm going to quest for 13. Okay. Eventually, when I have a ton of questing out, what I end up doing is I put like a 20-sided die down because now I know how much I quested for. It's a good reminder. So I quested for 13. So now I reveal a card. Oh, okay. So that's okay. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 5. And I quested for 13. That's 8. That's a total of 8. That means that I get to quest to this. And now this comes out. Okay, it says, any player who does not control a hero with at least 1 clue objective attached cannot commit characters to this quest. If there are ever new heroes with a clue objective attached in play, reset the quest deck to stage 2B. Okay, so I've just quested successfully, so I'm going to take this guy out, and that's cool. So I'm going to put it on here because I run too much of a risk when I'm actually going to put him on Glorfindel. I run too much of a risk having all my signs of Gollum on just one hero because there's too much that can happen to just one hero. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit it with both heroes, and then that way it's a little easier to deal with. Okay, now I get to travel. Okay, I'm going to travel here. Okay, that's cool. And now this is an interesting thing. So this is the way that this works here. Okay, so now this comes out. Now there's no cards in the encounter deck. When there's no cards in the encounter deck, okay, the rules you don't put a shadow card onto the card. Okay, it's a benefit of not having any cards in the shadow in the encounter deck. Okay, now it's kind of funny how that works out, but here's what ends up happening. I really want to participate in an attack here to kill this guy. Okay, so I'm going to ready Treebeard, and I'm going to use Treebeard to defend this guy. By doing that, okay, Treebeard is going to defend. He defends for 3. He only attacks for 2, so Treebeard is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack for 6. He only defends for 1, so he takes a whole bunch of damage, so he ends up dying. Now, his ability said when he attacks, you remove 1 progress token from the current quest. There's nothing on the current quest. And now I get to put 2 onto this, which means I traveled to the Eves of Mirkwood, and so that's good. Okay, so now we have to shuffle this up, okay, because eventually I'm going to have to stage some things. That's the name of the step that I was looking for, staging step. Okay, so I'm going to stage this guy, or I'm going to shuffle this up. Okay, and again, because I'm trying to mix up multiple cards, I usually do a little riffle there. Okay, so this goes in here. Here's this. Now, this doesn't have any of that funny, like, deal that's, like, add cards to the staging area or whatever if you quest successfully. So, what I'm hoping to do is, I'm hoping to quest through this turn. I'm hoping. We'll see what happens. So let's do this. We go to 3, 3, 3. I'm going to raise my threat, raise my round. Okay. Draw a card. That is what I've been looking for. Okay. So now I'm going to put the bow onto Haldir. And so now I'm down to 2 tactics tokens and tactics resources. So I'm going to quest for 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. 14. Let's just quest for 12. Right now there's only 1 threat out here. Okay, so here we go. Old Wives' Tale. It says discard 1 resource from each hero's pool if able, which I am able to. Okay, and right now that does not hurt me. Okay, so there's... Oops, I want to go down to 2, and then down to 2. Okay, so that's good. I quested successfully for 11, so I just was able to get through there. Okay, so it says if the players defeat this stage, the players have once again found a true sign of Gollum's passing and won the game. So I have clues of Gollum. Okay, and I just quested the heck out of that for 10. So that's good. The beginning of this stage is like crazy. You just keep getting things and things and things and things, but eventually you end up winning. If you can keep the first stage mitigated, I think that you're doing well. The second and third stage seems to be not horrible. Okay, I wonder what was coming up. Another Dunedain Hunter, Goblin Cleaver, an Ent. Gandalf was 4 cards down. Okay, well, I think I feel a lot more comfortable playing that like that. I feel like I won this one fairly and squarely because I guarded stuff. I followed most of the directions. So I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. Feel free, if you see something that I missed, leave comments below. Something that Albert missed. He's my rules guy. So, okay, have a great day.